What is up, guys? It is James and I am back with another video. So today we're in a little bit different setting. We are in my car right now, and today I kind of just want to talk about my journey to my payouts, because I did just take my second ever payout. It was a 14K payout, and it is a good feeling, and I kind of want to just do a little car talk and talk about my failures that I had to go through in order to get to those payouts, because it was not an easy road. It was a very, very tough road. And a lot of people looking from the outside in, they might think, they just see the payouts and they think, wow, I want to get into trading. And they think that those payouts come easy, but I'm here to tell you that it is a very, very hard road to get to profitability as a trader. And I'm just very, very glad that I didn't give up, because if you've been following along, or if you're new, just a couple months ago, I was very, very lost in trading and I almost gave up. Let me show you guys the proof of the payouts. Here's my email with Top Step. I don't think it's gonna focus, but yeah, I'll put a screenshot. But yeah, five Top Step accounts. Sorry, I can't talk. This is gonna be straight off the dome, and I'm just kind of gonna talk about some motivation for you guys. But took a little bit over 14K payout with my accounts. My last payout was a 10K account. That was my first ever payout back in October, and I had to go through a lot to really get to that payout, because if you guys didn't know, I started trading back at the end of 2021, and that was like 4 years ago. So it has been a long journey, and I didn't actually get into futures until the beginning of this year, but I got into trading back in 2021, and I didn't get my first ever payout till this year. That's 4 years. People ask me how long I've been trading for, and I've been trading for 4 years, just 4 years of straight losing money. So I'll make some profits, but overall I was in the red for those 4 years, for the most part. So this year, this past couple months, I've actually made my first significant profits, and now I'm fully out of the red for sure. And my bank account is the highest it's ever been. So yeah, I kind of want to just talk about my journey, and hopefully you guys can relate to the struggle that I went through, because I was very, very lost. So to kind of give you guys some background, I did start learning like futures from like TGR back in January, passed my first eval in February, off of just straight luck. And I blew that account after like 2 days, and I couldn't pass an eval for like 4 months. It took me forever to pass my evals. So once I actually passed those evals, I think it was like 3 evals, I took those the XFAs really, really slow, because I did not want to blow those accounts after knowing how hard it was for me to actually get and passing those evals. So I end up blowing those XFAs again, and I was in severe bad mental health, having mental health issues. I was just really a lot of self-doubt, and I really didn't know if I wanted to continue trading or not, because I've passed these XFAs and I never got a single payout from them, and I just had no idea what I was doing. So during that time, I was really self-doubting myself, and I was just back testing every single day. And the back testing results were, they weren't the greatest, but I had some sort of model that I was following. And when I was on XFA, on my Express accounts, I just wasn't having the same success that I was having on back testing. So I knew it was a me problem, and I knew it was a psychological problem when I was trading bad on my XFAs. So when I blew my XFAs, I was pretty low, at a low point in that moment, and my parents always asked me, they knew I wanted to do trading, and they always asked me like, how is trading going? And I remember that day that I blew my XFAs, we actually went out to dinner. And, if my parents are watching this, I remember this night pretty well, because it was, we went to, a Mexican restaurant, and, my dad asked me, how's trading going? And knowing that I just blew my Express accounts, I was at a pretty low point. And, I had to lie to them. I just told them, I'm still learning, this is why, I tell people, do not tell people that you day trade if you do day trade. Do not tell people that you're day trading if you still are not profitable, because that just adds more pressure on you. And my parents knew I wanted to day trade. I've been trying to day trade while I was in college, and so they knew all about it. And they knew that I hadn't really made any profits, but they wanted to know how I was doing, because they knew that's what I wanted to do long term. So I had to lie to them, and I had to tell them, I'm still learning, and it's going all right. But in the back of my head, I was like, I just blew my X phase. I'm literally at my lowest point in my life, and I felt terrible. I had a pit in my stomach, and I just never knew if I was gonna make it out. And I knew I wanted to make it out, but I just didn't know how to get there. I was back testing literally 5-6 hours a day. Before I blew my accounts, after I blew my accounts, I was just back testing, because I was like, what can I do to improve? And I was putting in work with back testing, I was trying to, build data, but it came to a point to where I realized it's not the strategy. The strategy clearly works. There's other people making money with the strategy. It's not the strategy. It's just me. It's me that needs to focus, be disciplined. So after that night, I remember when I was getting ready to go to bed, I was just contemplating whether or not if I really want to, continue on with the trading, or if, I should just give it up and go on with a different route. But I knew that I couldn't give up. I had to ask myself, man, why am I still trading? And I knew I had to ask what my purpose was with why I'm trading. And the reasons that kept me going were because trading is very, very scalable. You can make a lot of money and, maybe start other business ventures off of that capital that you make with trading. And it gives you a lot of freedom. You trade in the morning times. If you day trade, you can also, swing trade if you want, but it gives you the ability to trade, work on your own time. And then you also have the freedom to work anywhere in the world. And those are just very nice qualities trading gives you. So that is what kept me in the game of, wanting to continue to learn. But it was just a very, very mentally hard thing to do, because I had just kept on failing these evals, blowing my accounts, never seeing progress, and I was just ready to give it up. So that night, I just remember sitting on the edge of my bed, asking myself, I was literally it was a low point, because, I was, tearing up on the edge of my bed, praying to God and just asking for guidance, in this journey, hoping that, just show me light at the end of the tunnel, because, it was pretty bad, and, yeah, it was pretty bad, so yeah, whenever, people see these payouts, they don't think it came easy. They don't think it came easy, so I'm just here to, tell you guys what I had to go through. It was just a very, very rough time trying to learn. And if you guys, if you guys are struggling trying to learn how to trade, if you guys don't know if it's going to work, please don't give up. It's definitely possible. I documented my journey just literally 3 months ago. I was at my lowest, and now past 2 months, I've been able to take out 24K in payouts, and I'm very, very, confident. I've had a proof of concept of what works, what I need to do. Once you get that first ever payout, it's kind of like a snowball effect, because you show yourself you show yourself that it's definitely possible, what works, what doesn't work, and what you need to do, the habits that you need to do to actually get to those payouts. So I was literally talking to this with my parents, but that 14K payout, this is my biggest payout ever, but is the feeling of this 14K payout that I just took out is nothing. The feeling that is nothing like the feeling that I got from that first ever payout, my 10K payout. That was literally the best feeling that I've ever had. I was literally at an all-time high that day that, I was eligible for my 10K payout, because when I hit that 10K payout, I was able to just remember all the hard moments that I had to go through. When, that I had to go through in order to actually get to that point. And now this 14K payout, I've done the payout before, and I know what it took to, get to that payout. So this 14K payout, doesn't feel as great, but I'm not trying to sound ungrateful or anything. I'm very, very grateful. I'm so happy that, I'm in the position to actually, finally take these payouts, because it has been a lot of hard work to actually get to this point. So that was kind of my journey that I took when trying to, actually become profitable. It was a long up and down journey, a lot of lows, but I'm here to tell you guys that it's definitely possible. Life can change very, very, very quickly, because I was at my low in August, and it is the beginning of December. So how many months is that? August, end of August, September, October, November. Literally 3 months ago, I was at my lowest, and now I'm in a position where I actually just put in my 2 weeks at my job. I told myself if I do back-to-back 5-figure months, I'd leave, and I was able to, accomplish that. And so I put in my 2 weeks, so I will be day trading full-time and, doing social media, YouTube full-time. And I'm just very beyond blessed that, I'm able to do this, because this is something I've been working so hard towards, and I'm very excited, for what's the futures to come. So if you're new here, or if you've been watching, if you haven't already, please subscribe, because I'm just documenting my journey, basically documenting my life going forward. And I would just want to inspire you guys on what is possible with trading, what trading can do for you, because you can make money from trading, and then you can use that money to put into other businesses if you would want to, or invest it. So yeah, I'm very beyond blessed for, being able to trade and actually making it out. And I hope you guys, any of you guys that are struggling in your journey, please do not give up. Please continue, because it only took me 3 months to actually get 2 payouts, 2 5-figure payouts, and, be able to quit my job and go full time in day trading. So, please don't give up. You're going to have lows, but I feel like, you need to have these lows in order to actually, succeed in trading. If I never blew my accounts and, had that low point in my life, I don't know if I'd be in the position that I'm in today. So use those lows as canon events. Understand that you have to go through this process in order to, get to profitability. It's inevitable, and it's not going to be an easy road, but it's definitely a road worth taking. So that's all I have for you guys. I appreciate you guys if you guys stay till the end, and I'm excited for what is to come. 2026 is around the corner, and I'm excited for, making new goals. I've hit almost all the goals that I set out for myself. If you were to ask me 3 months ago if I were going to hit the goals that I set out for myself by the end of the year, I didn't think I was going to get there at all. And I was just ready to give it up. I was ready to take a new route. So yeah, don't give up, guys. Trading is definitely possible. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I'm proof of it, and I want you guys to just continue to trade. So continue learning, and don't beat yourself up too hard if you're going through a rough time. life can change very, very fast. So I appreciate you guys for watching. I know I yapped a lot, but yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.